understand very well the politics. This is a small island. Elections are fought on a very intense basis. We have a situation where everybody in the country has access to the politicians. I walk to work in the morning and walk home in the evening. I meet the taximan in the street or the busman or whoever else. People feel very enabled to go and talk to their Prime Minister or their ministers or their public representatives, irrespective of party or not, to which they're elected. It's important to bear in mind that if Ireland was to allow everybody to vote who claims to be Irish, there are 35 million Irish Americans, 70 million worldwide, you certainly have government after government elected by people who don't live in the country, and therefore will be paying their... Yeah. Well, obviously, it depends on how far back you want to go, because you can have passports legitimately issued to Irish people who go back 2 or 3 generations, 400,000 in Argentina who would claim to be of Irish descent, significant numbers in Chile, 1/3 of the Australian population, 1 million in Britain. So there's always the question of, do you let people vote in a general election or a presidential election who aren't actually taxpayers in the country? It's an issue. Now, one of the commitments that we gave in the programme for government was to form a constitutional convention of people in politics, of ordinary citizens, who would look at a range of issues that they would consider and deliberate and make recommendations for government to actually consider. One of those would be in regard to the presidential period of service, which in Ireland is 7 years. If that were to be reduced to 5, for instance, it would tie with the statutory requirements for local elections, which are 5 years, and the European elections, which are 5 years, and happen on the same dates as defined. So there's nothing technically to stop something like this happening, but it's a matter that would require some I think very comprehensive discussions. We've had observations about this for years. In fact, governments in the past made recommendations, as did all party parliamentary committees, but it was never brought to fruition. We did suggest that in the upper house which is the Senate, people should be entitled to represent the diaspora abroad, but then you run into all kinds of flack if you have to travel from Australia every fortnight. If you're elected to do that, might cause trouble as well. We're on front pages for different reasons, in airline tickets and everything else. It's an issue that will be discussed, I would assume, due course by the Oireachtas itself, and to an extent by the Constitutional Convention itself.
We have 5 more minutes in time.